even play the intro music. Fuck yeah. Hopefully some people tune in. I understand if not. I'm not a very big YouTube channel. But if you do listen, then awesome. And yeah, love the intro music. I really do. Okay. So I don't know if people will show up, but this is how I usually record the podcast. I have this headset with a microphone, and I record with. This is my microphone basically for the audio of the podcast, and then how I edit the audio is I use Adobe Audition. And yeah, sorry, my roommate is vacuuming also. I don't know if that'll show up in the audio or not, but anyway, I am here with it has come back. Hold My Microphone is back. So, boy, what happened with Hold On Microphone? Well, I came out with 7 episodes, I think. 7 normal episodes. And I have some people that got a hold of me and told me that they liked the podcast. And I kept going with it for a little while. Until I just got really busy and I didn't do it anymore. Plus it was just like I kind of ran out of things to talk about. So yeah, it just it kind of stopped eventually. But I have this live stream setup thing going on, and that's how we're gonna be broadcasting. Not all episodes if I continue, but this one anyway, just to try it, just to do something new. Honestly, that's it. There's no other big secret or anything about that. But yeah, that's why I stopped making episodes for a while. Is just that's it. I just got busy and I ran out of things to talk about for a little while. But now I'm back. And yeah, today on Hold My Microphone, we are actually going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about Star Wars, and we're going to talk about the state of it. Because I personally feel like some of the magic is lost with Star Wars. Maybe that's because I've gotten a little older. Maybe it's because of the whole Disney debacle situation. But whatever it is, I think we should talk about it. Now, I was going to make this episode of talking about Star Wars. That's why the picture is of Star Wars too, is because we're talking about Star Wars. But I think I don't really remember. Sorry about that, like a little audio thing right there. I'm trying to think when I made that episode with the Star Wars one. I didn't post it, but I made it. I just never posted it. But boy, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I made it, but I didn't post it. But anyway, I think we should probably get the introductions out of the way. I've been talking for 4 minutes about the podcast, and I haven't talked at all about Star Wars. I hope that you guys enjoy this. I hope that you can listen to it or watch it or whatever. But yeah, this is also really cool because when I live stream, I can play videos on the display. So if we need to watch something to get my point across, we can do that. I would have to, back when I had my Spider-Man video, reviewing a Spider-Man video, that was edited using Adobe Premiere. So, but this one I can watch him live and everything like that. Okay. So, how should we start this? Star Wars. Star Wars has always been a really, really big part of my life. And I know that a lot of people say that, and it sounds really fucking dumb. But it really has. Star Wars got me into movies. I am about to graduate from film school in like a month. Um, I. What else? What else has Star Wars done? I mean, it was my childhood. All my action figures were Star Wars. All of my clothes were Star Wars. I had toy lightsabers. Me and my friends would play in the backyard for years just playing Star Wars. Um, but some of the magic is gone. And I think a big reason for that, and I might be wrong, but I think a big reason why Star Wars has lost its magic, and you're not going to, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I think a big reason yeah, whatever. I think a big reason is expansion. And I know that that sounds weird. You got to think like, well, hey, it's more Star Wars. Like, why would you not want more Star Wars? But I do want more Star Wars, but I think they're expanding on it too much. Like, let me say it like this. Take something like Batman, right? Batman has shit coming out all the fucking time. But it's still like in a time frame, right? Cuz something that I've noticed about Star Wars, and let me go to the display capture here. If you go to this guy's channel, Star Wars Theory, he has a video out right now, and it is called Palpatine was a clone in Rise of Skywalker confirmed. Mind blown. So he is making videos about how Palpatine was a clone. And it's just like, okay, Palpatine becoming a clone trooper. Not a clone trooper. I swear to God, bro. I haven't eaten anything today either. Let me go back to the picture. I think a big issue with Star Wars is this expansion, because I just think there's too much shit going on. I think there's too much. I feel like, um, yeah, the Clone Wars TV show, and you have the Rebels TV show, and you have the movies. You have like 9 movies and all this crap. Just like all like if you actually sat down and said, "I'm gonna watch the story of Star Wars," it would not take you like 6 hours. It would take you weeks. You know, and I feel like some of the just the way that they extend like the new characters and all, like you lose sight of who the main people are. Like Luke Skywalker, like in the new movies, Luke Skywalker like isn't in them, and when he is, they got his character wrong. So it's like by expanding what you have, you're ruining what you had. Does that make sense? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But that's what I have to say about that, anyways. Is I just feel like, okay, the Emperor, great character, right? But then all of a sudden you make him a clone. It's just a dumb decision to me. I just don't I don't like it. I don't get it. Maybe it's not for me to. Maybe it's just I don't know. I think that Star Wars, like it's a small universe that you can't do that much with, because when you try and do things with it it's bad. like like Solo is a good example. They tried to make Solo, and it's again, you're expanding what you already have, and I hated Solo. I didn't like it. So I think when you just expand way too much on what you do. And see, here's the thing, like, I know Star Wars has been expanded on for years, like ever since it first came out, with books and comics and all that stuff, right? But that's not the same. That's not as easy to consume, you know? But I feel like when you actually cuz they've made so many movies with Star Wars, And for me, movies are easier to consume. And I don't really give a shit. Like, here's what I'm trying to say. Like, when you make more Star Wars movies, that is what really counts. I don't give a shit if it if Snoke's explanation or whatever is in a comic book. I don't care at all. I don't think you should need to read a book to understand something. That's another problem with Star Wars too. Is like we've reached this point where it's you need to read things to find out about the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Luke's blue lightsaber in the picture. That was supposed to be a big thing, and then Maz Kanata was supposed to say, "What the fuck? How did she get the lightsaber?" But then, the answer is revealed in a comic. What if you don't read comic books? It's just too much expanding in so many areas that it just ruins it. It's so hard to follow. And same thing with Solo. You have the Darth Maul cameo. What if you never watched the Clone Wars series or Rebels? I have never watched Rebels, and I don't plan on it. But you just gotta wonder, you put Darth Maul in Solo, and then what if you never watched it? You wouldn't understand, and you'd be like, "What? Why is Darth Maul there?" So again, I feel just by expanding it, you are making it more complicated, and you're just ruining what people love about Star Wars. That's how I feel about it. And I understand if you disagree. It doesn't. I understand. Plain and simple. You don't have to agree with me. I just feel like by expanding it too much, they've made it more complicated, less easy to follow. And they're not expanding it in the right ways either. When I heard that they were making new movies and Disney bought it, I thought that I was going to be able to see all my favorite characters come back and it would be just like the old days. But it isn't. It's much worse. I I didn't want to see all my favorite characters die. But I did. Because they're expanding on it with new people so much. And it's just become such a big thing. To actually sit down and watch Star Wars is a process. And I think it's a problem. Now, with video games and stuff, that's great. You can make all the stories you want for video games because you're playing the experience. You know what I mean? And I personally don't really even consider a Star Wars video game story that important. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe. I haven't done a podcast in a long time. It's hard for me to get back in this groove a little bit. But let me I'm trying to think of a good example of how Star Wars has just expanded way too much. Maybe just I think all you have to do to really find an example of it is just to try and watch it all the way through. All of it. All of it. Clone Wars, Rebels, all the movies. Solo, Rogue One. You just see it too much. And I feel like another problem with Star Wars is that it's just becoming kind of the same thing too. Now, I don't want it to be that different either, because Star Wars has a good formula. But when you try and change it too much, then you get like The Rise of Skywalker, that terrible movie. Like, I just, I don't, I don't like how complex it's gotten. And I think it's a problem. But let me try and find a video or something to show just how fucking. I think like. Let me see. Maybe this is a good video to show. Like, just how stupidly expanded Star Wars has become. Let me try this. Let's see if you guys will like this one.
Vader was given an opportunity to have a new suit built for him. The suit would have been far more advanced, technologically superior, and much more comfortable than his original. However, due to budgetary restraints, Vader would have to have this and his life support upgrades.
See, like, people make up all sorts of
Vader-
shit on the Star Wars wiki and everything. Like, what's it called? Wikipedia? Oop, I misspelled wiki. Oh, there's two E's in it. Huh. There's, like, billions of pages on all this shit. And see, like, Star Wars is just a couple movies. Oh, The Mandalorian. I forgot about The Mandalorian. Mandalorian's good. Mandalorian is actually really good because it's not trying to be larger than life. It's just good stories. You know? Like, this is trying to be larger than life. This is not. This also is not. But here's my problem with the Clone Wars. My problem with the Clone Wars is actually my biggest plus about it. My biggest complaint about the Clone Wars is Anakin. And I love Anakin. Anakin is my favorite character in the show. But my problem is the inconsistency of the Clone Wars and then in the movies. Because, see, he doesn't act like himself at all. You ever seen the Star Wars, the Clone Wars series on the 2003 one? You got to see this. Because this had Anakin correct. Like, I'm not going to say correct. I'm going to say accurately depicted. Because it just, they didn't change his character at all.
Slip. Falls the
Like,
duty.
I'm trying to find an example.
Uniformed army of the Republic. And as the heat of war grows,
Just like with his anger and everything. Like,
of one most gifted student of the Force.
you can just tell that he's being himself, you know. But Anakin in the movies is a terrible character. But Anakin in the Clone Wars is really good. However, when you're trying to watch the whole thing, you can get very confused very easily. Because it's like, oh, okay. Why is he acting so different? Why is, like, the Anakin in these movies acting so different than in this show? You know, just the way that he acts, his personality. Now, Anakin in the Clone Wars is the best depiction of Anakin, for sure. But it's very confusing. And see, that's another thing. Whenever you expand on Star Wars, you can just change whatever you want, making it more inconsistent. Right? Like, Luke is very inconsistent in the new movies compared to who he was. I know some people like that. I know a lot of people hate it. I hate it. We can get into that more in another episode, I guess. But My roommate is playing Disney music right now. She's playing Frozen. I don't know if you can hear that in the audio or not. I hope not. But it's what's happening. And I can't do much about it right now. I can't just go in there and say, hey, stop playing music, you know? But yeah, that's another problem, is just the inconsistency of characters can kind of add up. Like, Han Solo in Solo was not like Han Solo at all. So, again, you're making it more complex and harder to follow while just changing your characters and doing whatever you want with them. Like, again, with like Batman, at least Batman is consistent with who he is. Right? Well, unless if you watch like Batman and Robin. But I'm just saying, like, so many people have had control over Star Wars. Disney has had control over Star Wars. George Lucas has had control over Star Wars. John Favreau has had control over Star Wars. David Filoni has had control over Star Wars. You know, so they can do whatever they want, and it's added to the canon. You know, I think that's another problem with Star Wars, is that the characters become more inconsistent as time goes on. Now, I know that right now I'm not giving the strongest arguments. I understand that. I'm not used to this podcast format right now. But, you know, if people like it, then I guess it really doesn't matter. I'm trying to find a... sorry. I have to respond to this. Huh. Okay. Let's watch a Star Wars video again. Let me see if I can find anything. I'm trying to think of like a... This is really hard. I haven't really planned anything out. But I know that some people like to listen, so... Anyway. But there are some things that I like about Star Wars. I like that, I like the Clone Wars show. I like the original movies. That's why, like, have you ever seen the Star Trek? By the way, Star Trek sucks. I don't care what you say. Star Trek versus Star Wars. You ever seen this? Let me go to the... this video's kind of old, isn't it?
So tell me, what?
Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to find this part where he goes, okay, then what does count as Star Wars, right? Let me show you.
To talk about pseudoscience, midichlorians then.
That doesn't count.
How about politics? The Galactic Senate then.
Doesn't count either.
Oh, great. So tell me, what does count as Star Wars?
The Clone Wars cartoon and the original 3 movies. Except the Ewoks. They're dumb. Oh, yeah. Hilarious. Almost as hilarious as Star Trek V.
We don't speak of the odd-numbered Star Trek movies.
That's weird.
Oh, wait.
Because it seems like all you do is talk.
You're simply...
Star Wars is way better than Star Trek will ever be because it is actually entertaining. And they don't just stand there and talk. Unless if you're watching the prequels. But then again, even the prequels has shit in it that's actiony. I understand that some people can die in Star Trek and everything, but like, it's not for me. But yeah, like, if Star Wars was really that good, you know, with its movies and stuff, you wouldn't have to say something counts, something doesn't count, you know? Like, when I actually sit down and watch Star Wars, I would probably watch episodes 1 through 6. I would watch the prequels and I would watch the originals. I would watch, like, I wouldn't include the Clone Wars cartoon in there. I wouldn't include the new movies in there, which is really sad because that's more like characters that I like, but they all die. And it's overtaken by new characters that I don't like. So, but yeah, like I wouldn't include the Clone Wars cartoon or anything. That's like another problem when something is super long. Like, how are you gonna watch the whole thing from beginning to end? Do you know what I mean? I think it just becomes harder to follow. Well, I've been streaming for about 25 minutes now, and I've kind of rambled on about some things, and yeah. You guys ever seen, have you guys ever seen... Star Wars is hard to talk about because it's been talked to death and you want to come up with something new. You feel me? Ooh. I'm on YouTube right now trying to find another Star Wars video, but... You guys ever heard of Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures? Like... Oh, never mind. If you want an entertaining show, watch that. Watch Ghost Adventures. That show is terrible. If you want to also have a good YouTube channel to watch when you're bored, watch Red Letter Media. They make really good shit. They're fucking hilarious, and they should be the biggest channel on YouTube because they just come up with all sorts of awesome stuff. Oh, have you seen, have you guys played Battlefront 2 at all? By the way, Battlefront 2 is like one of the best Star Wars games ever made now, so, I would check that out if I were you. I would buy Battlefront 2. When I say something is good in Star Wars, it's good. Because I hate a lot of things about Star Wars. I love some things about Star Wars. But I also really don't like some things in Star Wars. So I'm on Twitter trying to find a thing about Star Wars right now. This process is a lot more different than I thought it would be. Hey, by the way, there is a community survey going on for Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I would check that out. Oh, fuck off. Look at this tweet. Look at this tweet, people. Look at this. Let me go to the display capture. What the hell? Okay. Check this out. How did you do it? Defeat an empire with almost nothing. We had each other. That's how we won. Together we stand. I don't like any of these people. What the hell? These people did not save the universe. They're terrible characters. It is a good screenshot, though. That's a good screenshot. It's a real shame that they're such terrible movies, though. They're terrible. Alright, we can turn that off. Yeah. They're terrible movies. Maybe I should just talk about why I hate them so much. That would be good. I hate the new movies because they take everything that I liked about Star Wars, the characters, the situations, the not cheesy dialogue. Star Wars did not have cheesy dialogue. They didn't say like, "Oh, we had each other" and all that bullshit. Like, they didn't say that. They didn't say in the prequels either. Do you remember when Obi-Wan got really pissed off at Anakin? What was that? It's like, "Oh, I got don't let your personal feelings get in the way," and all that shit. But see, like, were those real? Before I talk about this, I have to make sure that they're real. Because I'm not sure if they're real or not. But let me see if they are. Because if they are, I think it just... Is it? Oh my god, it is real. It is real. Look at this image. The Force is female. I don't really care about any of like the social justice aspects of Star Wars. But I think that this shirt just kind of explains like why I don't like the new movies. I don't really care that they're Oh. Wait, what? I don't get it. But I think that this shirt kind of says something about like the Disney aspect of Star Wars. Is they just try and market anything that they can. That is what I'm trying to say. I feel like the Force is gender neutral. What? They're just trying to market anything. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, they'll even market, like, a gender. Leap Day. Today is Leap Day. I don't really care about the social justice aspects of Star Wars. I never really cared about any of that. I don't dislike Rey because it's a girl. I think probably my second favorite Star Wars character is probably, well, one of my favorite Star Wars characters is Princess Leia. You know? It's not that. I don't care. And I'm not trying to show this Force is female shirt to say, oh my god, social justice has ruined Star Wars. I'm trying to say that they take anything and try to market it. Now, I understand that Star Wars has always been about marketing, but they didn't put marketing first. They made the movie first. And I just feel like they're trying to, they didn't try and, like, George Lucas did not try and crank out shit as fast as he could so that he could make money. He did the movie first. Sure, some of them are terrible and some of them aren't, but at least he made the movie before, like, he made the movies without saying, I'm going to just crank this shit out. I'm not going to come out with 7 Star Wars movies in 2 years like Disney has, where they have to make a Star Wars movie like every year so that they can crank shit out, That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. Star Wars, to me, has always been one story that didn't need so much expansion. And I think that's what I had to say about it. What I have to say is it's just expanded too much on. The merchandise is expanded. Nobody buys anything Star Wars related anymore either. Like, when I was a kid, everybody bought Star Wars stuff, but nobody buys anything with Star Wars anymore. So. Huh. All right. Well, we're about 33 minutes in. 34 minutes in, really. And I feel like I haven't really done anything. But I like watching videos with you guys. God damn, that music is loud. Alright, maybe I should cut it short here. Alright, well, we talked a little bit about Star Wars. I talked about why I didn't like it. But, I don't know. Maybe, why don't you guys suggest the next topic for me? Whatever you want to see. Whatever you want me to talk about. I will. If you want me to. Maybe I'll have a guest on. I kind of need a guest, don't I? I haven't really had any guests with these podcasts yet. And I think it would be really beneficial to have some guests on. I need another microphone, though. I only have one microphone. So. But yeah. How did I end the show? I don't remember. How did I end the show? I always used to do something. Hold on, let me check my YouTube channel. By the way, if you have not checked out my YouTube channel in a while, I've been test streaming a lot of things. Let me see. Let's watch my mental health episode. Like I lost like a whole. Okay, I get it. That's what happened. Yeah. Writer of a subject, obviously. Well, I don't know. I will see you guys on the next. Hold my microphone. Hold my microphone. Right, I loved doing that. Kind of like be like, hold my microphone. Hold my microphone. All right. Well, I feel like my roommate is singing too loud for me. So, okay. Well, that was our show for today. I hope, if anything, you understand that my problem with Star Wars is that it's just expanded upon. By the way, Battlefront 2, totally revamped game. I would totally buy it. You have my recommendation. And buy the original Battlefront 2 on Steam, because there is a great community out there called the Battlefront 2 Remaster, which has remastered the entire game. You have to download some files, like a lot of files, but it's really worth it. All right. Thank you. And I will see you guys on the next Hold My Microphone.